Back by popular demand. Is that what you say? Back by popular demand. I don't really know if that's the right thing to say. Anyway, we're fucking back. This, I'm gonna drop that. This is Q&A. SOULCYCLE edition. Last week I put out my first Q&A ever. Thanks. I know. I'm so popular, I'm so famous. Now, this is the thing. Like, we're gonna dive right into it. Everything, all things SOULCYCLE. The good and the bad. So let's dive right in. There's a lot of freaking questions, okay? There's a lot of questions. I wrote them all down because I don't feel like being on my phone. So, we're gonna start off with the audition process. That is honestly the most popular question that I get all the time is,
what is the audition process like? What did you do? What did you prep for? What were your audition songs? Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know if you know this. I auditioned twice. 2 times. So I do want to talk to you a little bit about that because a lot of people audition once. If they don't make it through or they don't go all the way or they don't get to training, it's like, oh, like they don't like me. That's not true. That is not true. So please get that through your head. It is not true. So we're going to talk about the audition process. In my last Q&A that I did, if you have not seen it, go and check it out because I talk a little bit about how I got involved in SOULCYCLE. I'm not going to do that again. Exit out, go watch it, watch the first like 7 minutes and then come back to this video and pick up where you left off. Long story short,
lived in New York, tried my first class, cried, hated it, fell in love with it. The rest is history. Here I am as an instructor.
That being said, I had made the decision to be an instructor, honestly, based off of that first ride and then what had happened within a month or 2 months of me just being a rider. There is something so special in that room. If you've been in it, great. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I highly recommend that you go and you experience it. And honestly, experience different instructors, okay? So don't just go to one class. You could be with someone who you don't necessarily vibe with, and then you could miss out on having a connection with another instructor. So please, like, whatever market you're in, go explore, try everybody out. Everybody has something to give that is unique and different than the last person, next person, than the... Here I am talking so damn fast that I'm out of breath. Okay. Now, audition season happens multiple times a year. They will announce it on their Instagram or they will announce it on their website. You will go, they will give you all the major cities that they're doing it in, and you just apply. You apply with resume, a headshot, and why you want to be an instructor. At that point, my why was based off of how I felt as a rider for riding for a whole year. How so many different instructors that I had been around changed my life. So, once I got approved to... My stomach is growling. It sounded like I farted. I didn't fart. Once I got approved to be in the room and audition, they book you a bike and they set you up a time and then you go. Now that being said, the first time I went to Dallas and there was probably about like 30 people, okay? 30 people from all over, truly, like people flew in from different states, all over with so many different backgrounds. Now, y'all, I'm not gonna say I've never been an instructor because I've like led dance classes and like I've done choreography and I've definitely been in front of a room before, but it was not my full-time job. It was nothing that I was used to. That being said, if you have no experience teaching, great, go, perfect, love it. If you have experience teaching, great, love it, go, done, done, and done, and done. So you go in, you have a nice little round where you're able just to ride in the room, and it kind of feels just like a class. You ride in the room, you get coached with certain things to do on the bike. Again, if you don't know how to fucking ride a bike, who gives a fuck? That's what training's for, okay? And you just feel your damn self like you're in a normal class. You share your energy, you share your love, and then bam, you leave the room. After you leave the room, bitches, we on American Idol. It's either you get cut or you go to the next round. No, I'm not kidding. It's actually like, it's an audition. It's like a job interview. It sounds like really intense, but that's what it is. So I had made it to that next round. The next round is the podium round. Once you're in the podium round, that's when you go up and you present your 2 songs that you have put together. My 2 songs. One of them, New Rules by Dua Lipa, Venus by Lady Gaga, obviously. A dear friend of mine gave me advice before I went, and I will forever be grateful for her advice because I believe that it put me in the right headspace for my audition. It's so cheesy. Be yourself. Literally. It's about your personality. It's not about coaching in the room. It's not about how much you know. It's not about anatomy. It's not about saying the right lingo. It's your person, your being, your energy. That's what it is. And that's what SOULCYCLE is, right? Like, it's not competitive. We aren't tracking how far we're going. It's about showing up as you. And yeah, plus side, it's workout. You feel good. Endorphins are up. If you want to lose weight, you can lose weight. If you want to tone, you can tone. If you want to just show up and emotionally experience something, great, done. That's how I prepped. Those were my audition songs, and that's what the audition process is like. From that point on, you leave, you go home, and then hopefully you get, called back to the next round, and hopefully you get invited to training. I didn't my first round. I didn't. I really thought that I had it in the bag. I thought I had a great audition. I didn't. Next round of auditions came about, I think maybe like 8 months later. They were coming to Houston, so they were coming to a different part in Texas, and I went. And I had the same mindset, be myself. Obviously, I was more knowledgeable on what the process was. My heart was in the same place. It's like, I love this company, I want this job, and I'm just gonna show up as me. And maybe last time wasn't the right time, and maybe this time it's going to be. My second round of audition songs, I played all the time in class if you've ridden with me. One is Bad Karma. The second song, what the fuck was my second song?
3 days later, and I did it. I did it. The second song that I auditioned with was Indian Summer.
Tips for picking music. Choose ones that make you super, super, super pumped, that you feel like are a reflection of yourself.
Next question.
Whoa! Don't worry, the other questions are going to be easier answers. I'm like kind of diving in with the ones that are a little more long-winded, a little more, Let's talk about training. Training is in New York City, for those of you that do not know. And luckily enough, I lived in New York for a while, so I kind of knew where things were. I lived there before I moved to Texas. I stayed with a dear friend of mine, and you go, and it's basically around 2 months. It's like seven weeks. And you have about 5 weeks of really, really, really intense training, 5 days a week. You have the weekend off. And then you have 2 weeks of community rides, and we'll get into that. So training was incredible. It was the most
transformative, challenging time that I have been through since I went to acting school. In fact, I'm just convinced that training is acting school just condensed into 5 weeks.
They teach you how to ride. They teach you what it's like to playlist. They teach you the arc of the class. They teach you how to hold space in a room, find your voice, to project, to give the room an experience. They give you all of these incredible tools, and then it's up to you to practice. Sometimes I rode almost 6 hours a day, and then some days I didn't, and it was more lecture, and then on the weekends I rode all over the city with all different kinds of instructors. And so you get the vibes of everybody else, and you can pick and choose what speaks to you and what you want to grasp onto, and then you can make it your own. I don't have a lot to say about training other than the fact that it's totally and completely necessary, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a bonding experience with a group of people that you're with, the fucking OGs of SOULCYCLE, and then you get to see the magic of New York City, SOULCYCLE New York City. It's just, I say this all the time to my riders here, SOULCYCLE New York is a totally different beast. So if you ever go, please go. I highly recommend taking Janet. I highly recommend taking Val. I highly recommend taking Tramel. I highly recommend taking Marvin, and he's so hot. And I highly recommend taking James J. Here we go. Now we are on to the next segment of our Q&A. My shoulder's like popping. I'm getting old. Okay, next question is, how many leggings do you go through in a week? So many. At least 10 to 15. Oh, that being said, this is not an ad, okay? Maybe one day I'll be like famous enough to get paid to like put an ad on. If you work out excessively, you need to get rockin' green, okay? That's what it looks like right here. That's what it looks like. Go on Amazon, rockin' green. And then this is what it looks like when you soak your fucking clothes. Trigger warning. Yeah, disgusting, but I swear to God, it saves clothes. Next question. What song will always make a class hype? Honestly, I have never, ever, ever been in a class without this song slapping. Gypsy by Lady Gaga. Next. Tips on how to become a stronger rider.
Ooh, this is fun, especially because I looked like a newborn baby gazelle when I first rode, and I had no idea how people were moving their bodies the way that they were moving, and I just, you know, Jack and the Beanstalk, like kind of wet noodle spaghetti-like. Oh yeah, that was me on a bike.
Honestly, consistency. It took me 5 months to make it through an entire class, doing all the choreography and not sitting down. Mind you, I was obsessed with SOULCYCLE when I first found out about it. I was riding at least 4 times a week.
Just keep showing up, keep doing it.
Next one. What is your favorite thing about the job? What is your least favorite thing about the job? Favorite thing about SOULCYCLE? The community, the people, riders. That is it. I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for the people who showed up, and I wouldn't be as authentic as I believe that I am in class without actually having real relationships with riders. Least favorite thing about the job. Energetically giving myself 6 days a week. It is exhausting. Yeah, it's a lot. But again, I knew that going into it, right? You're here to hold space for others. The class is not about you. It is about the riders. That's just what it is. You have to leave your shit at the door. And so I do. I yank it in when I need it for any kind of inspiration, but I leave the shit at the door.
Next question!
How do you find new music? Well, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing about music. You know what I mean? Like, I love it. I love it so much. It's 100% of my job. It's literally every job that I have. Yeah, I'm listening to music. So when I'm in my car, I drive in silence. When I'm at home cleaning my house, I listen to the hum of the vacuum. I like to think that I'm hip. I like to think that I'm like pretty cool. I like to think that I'm like up with the times. I'd like to think that Gen Zs and millennials can be one and take over the world together. So if you're a Gen Z, quit the shit and be my friend, okay? Honestly, recently, I get songs from TikTok. I don't know if I'm like proud of that or ashamed. Fuck it, I'm proud of it. I get songs from TikTok. Ooh, this one's a good one. How do you stay positive and motivating? I really think that ties back to like leaving your shit at the door, right? And like showing up for other people. I feel like I'm like about to read off of a fortune cookie.
Jesus.
You can find inspiration in anything. Honestly, it took coming back to Texas and teaching for my first 4 months until I started actually seeing everybody, right? Like feeling and seeing everybody. So the moment that I do that is the moment that I'm able to open up and be inspired by other people in the room. I also try and stay as aware and up to date with what's happening in the world, and you can speak to that at any given time.
Next!
Do you plan choreo? When I first started, yes, I had the 45 minutes plan. I mean, it took me almost like 6 hours to make a damn playlist and to plan absolutely everything. Now, granted, when I got in the room, like I would forget and then I would like, you know, just whatever happened. Now, I literally, because I'm coming up on 2 years of instructing, I have this like sixth sense, and I feel like I can guess the way that music is gonna go, and then whatever I feel, I'm like, do this, let's do this. Because I enjoy teaching choreography on the fly now instead of being super planned. Again, that goes down to seeing the room and seeing what the riders are able to do, and what would make them feel good is what I kind of try to lead in. Always a double tap back body roll, at least once. You have to. How does your body make it through 10 or more classes a week? I have no fucking clue. I have no idea. I sleep a lot. Final question. Will you be featured on the SOULCYCLE Veris app? Well, one, I would just like to say thank you for even considering me to do such a thing. Thank you for even toying with the idea of me being advanced enough to be on that platform? The answer is, I should be. I don't know, but if you want me to be, your soul matters. Email in. So there we go. There's SOULCYCLE in a nutshell. It is an incredible company. I love it. It has so many ups. It has a lot of downs at the same time, as any job is. It's exhausting. It's challenging. Writing is hard in general. Teaching is hard in general, but it's so insanely rewarding. And I guarantee that if you're watching this video and you have made it through however long this video is, then you have been to SOULCYCLE or you're super interested in going. But I'm sure a lot of you have been to SOULCYCLE and you've just always wanted to ask these questions. So I want to thank you for being a part of this incredible company, because without you, like, we wouldn't literally exist and I wouldn't have a job. So thank you for showing up and riding a bike that goes nowhere. Also, thanks for watching. Also, you should subscribe. Oh! I'm trying to seduce you to subscribe, okay? This is me seducing you. All right, we're gonna end this video. Oh, and if you were curious, I'm not wearing pants again. I think that's gonna be my thing. Q&A without any pants on. Okay, bye!